stray. A simple world where love would bloom in every corner of the living room. Oh, the golden thread, it ties us tight through black and white into the light. A reel of love, it's always there. Classic moments beyond compare.
Hello, and welcome back to The Golden Thread, Lessons from Classic TV, where we pull at the thread of human kindness woven into the stories of the shows we love and see what still holds us together. Today, we're turning to a special episode of ALF, Season 1, Episode 18, titled Border Song. It's an episode full of comedy, as always, but also one of the most unexpectedly tender and human stories ALF ever told. And at the center of it all is a boy named Luis, a teenage immigrant working for the Ochmoneks, and an alien who sees past every label and just sees a lonely kid. When the episode opens, Willie Tanner is already worried his neighbors, the Ochmoneks, have hired a young man named Luis to do yard work, and it's clear he's undocumented. Willie doesn't want to get involved at first, but when Alf discovers Luis sleeping in the Ochmoneks' garage, things change quickly. And that is the moment when this episode transcends its sitcom trappings, because Alf, this crash-landed alien, perpetually curious and constantly meddling, doesn't see Luis the way the adults do. He doesn't worry about his immigration status or what the law says or what neighborhood gossip might think. Alf just sees a boy, a tired, scared, sweet kid. Someone sleeping on a pile of car mats, clutching a photo of his family. And Alf, impulsive and loving as always, sneaks Luis into the Tanner's home, feeding him and insists that they let him stay. That's what Alf asks Willie, and it's such a simple, childlike question. Why can't he just live here? It stuns the adults, and us too if we let it. Because what Alf is really saying is, why can't love decide this? Why can't kindness outrank bureaucracy? Why do our borders, the ones between countries and the ones we build in our hearts, keep us from doing the thing that love would do without hesitation? Alf, in all his innocent mischief, sees the golden thread more clearly than anyone else, that belonging should never be earned. It should be offered. As the episode unfolds, we learn more about Luis. He's not a criminal. He's not lazy. He's not looking for a handout. He's just trying to send money home to his mother and sisters. He came here not for himself, but for them. When Luis sits at the Tanner dinner table and tells them about his family, about what little they have and what he's trying to build, the comedy fades and the thread of empathy shines through. Even Alf stops being silly in that moment. And Willie, who started the episode with walls up, walls built by fear, legality, and social pressure, begins to soften. Not because Alf nagged him into it, but because Alf reminded him of something. That every person is somebody's child. That no one chooses hardship. That everyone wants to be safe and known and loved. One of the most tender moments comes when Luis shyly thanks the family for dinner. He thanks them. It's such a small thing, a boy at a dinner table, but for Luis it means everything. It's warmth, it's safety, it's being seen. And that's what this episode is really about. Not just immigration, not just social issues, not even just kindness. It's about belonging. How many people live their lives waiting for someone to say, "Stay, you're welcome here"? And how often do we ignore those pleas because we're too afraid of the consequences of doing the right thing? Luis eventually chooses to return home. He wants to go back to his family and bring them hope, not hardship. But he leaves changed, and so do the Tanners. Alf, of course, wants to go with him. He even packs a sombrero and guitar. But in his way, Alf gave Louise what he needed most. Not money, not a visa, but a moment of being seen, of being treated like he belonged. The golden thread in this story is woven through laughter and awkward misunderstandings, yes. But it holds strongest in that quiet understanding between two strangers, the alien and the boy, the immigrant and the outsider, both far from home, both longing to be loved and to love in return. In today's world where immigration and borders are hot-button issues, it's easy to fall into fear or judgment. But this little 1980s sitcom reminds us of something timeless. We are all strangers somewhere, and the way we treat the stranger reveals who we really are. So when someone knocks, whether it's on your door or on the walls of your heart, may we answer not with suspicion, but with compassion, and maybe even with dinner. Because sometimes what saves a person isn't policy or protest or paperwork. Sometimes it's just a plate, a seat, and your words. You're welcome here. Thanks for joining me today on The Golden Thread, guys. I'll see you next time when we uncover more timeless lessons hidden in plain sight on the shows we grew up with and the stories that still guide us. Until then, keep pulling that thread. Talk to you next Monday. Y'all have a good one. Later, Gators.
Walking down the lanes of yesterday, we'll laugh